back again. It's Monday.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was Tuesday all day today for some reason.
Monday.
I don't fucking know why. Even though I put the garbage out this morning and everything, you'd think I'd know it was Monday, but no. DJ Maniac. So here's something that you pointed out that I didn't even realize. You said, DJ Maniac says, I'm only here for a second. My friend Henry from last podcast on the left is in this movie. And I didn't even realize when I was watching the movie, because I thought the dude's voice sounded kind of familiar, and then like I was reading a review of it and they were talking about him like he was famous, like the dude that played the cop, and I was like, oh, it's Henry Zabrowski from last podcast on the left. Duh. Yeah. I can't believe I didn't make that connection.
You've been on that show, huh?
No.
You haven't? Okay.
No, I listen to that show a lot though, because they're
sound familiar.
They're funny as hell. They do they do a lot of true crime shit, so a lot of times I'll listen to their treatment of something like before we get into something
I heard the name of that podcast. I thought that was one of the ones that maybe we did or something.
No, I know we've done so many.
We've done some, yeah.
I mean, last
shows and shit.
Last podcast on the left, probably one of the most popular true crime kind of podcasts out there, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's three guys. They're fucking hilarious. So yeah, this movie here, unless you wanted to start out with something else.
Sess is in here. Got Sess addicted to Blowfly.
Yeah, they've been messaging back.
Yeah, messaging her some Blowfly songs. Yeah, fucking fun. They're not all great, but you know, he's got a lot of good ones. I liked his version of Blue Monday too, and his version of fucking When Doves Cry. Of course, it's called When Doves Come. Yeah. Of course, which is more about pigeons shitting on you than anything else. But it's fucking funny,
because
man.
of course it is.
Dude's just fucking out of control. Being in love with fucking transsexuals and all kinds of fucking funny shit. Transsexuals that flipped him gay and just crazy shit. Ones that he paid to blow him while he was in the park. Just crazy shit.
I mean, seriously,
Blowfly's hilarious.
I feel like if Blowfly was still alive, he has sadly left us.
Yeah.
Him and Chuck Tingle should have done a collaboration of some sort.
Exactly. Same kind
Perhaps a multimedia.
Same kind of thing.
I kind of feel like I would have paid a substantial amount of money to see that.
Yeah. Because Blowfly's got one setting, and that's super slut. He can only talk about sex, and the more filthy the better. That's just what he does. Well, you know, he found a niche and he just stuck with it. That was his brand. He was very on brand. Yeah. Which, you know, he had some focus. Yeah, kind of like Dolomite. He was kind of topping Dolomite, singing and fucking doing rap and entertaining. It was multimedia entertainment, you know. Pre-internet stuff, you know, skirting censorship. He was shock jocking. Yeah. Shock jocking, yeah. And telling storytelling and singing. He could sing. When he wanted to. He could sing, yeah.
When he wanted to.
Yeah. Was rapping and singing, you know what I mean?
It's like I can sing when I want to. It's just most of the time I don't want to.
When he got old, he was just in this damn silly ass superhero costume, fucking with his underwear on the outside of it, fucking with his long fucking middle fingers with the big old fucking. He had a pimp hands. You know, he had a pimp hands with the big old long nails and shit, and pointed his middle finger at you and shit. And he didn't really sing. He just rapping. You know, rapping and the whole fucking crowd going wild.
And the crowd goes.
Too bad we didn't. Too bad we didn't see him before he died.
I know. I kind of regret that actually, because I remember seeing that poster.
He's the ultimate Florida man, the ultimate expression of fucking Florida ghetto.
I mean, dude, if he had eaten another dude's face off, he would have been the quintessential. I mean, he may have at some point. We don't know. They just didn't find out about it.
It's fucking funny.
Allegedly. Yeah. But all right. So this movie we're talking about today, a little flick called After Midnight. Now this actually, they have it, it just recently showed up on Shudder, and they have it listed as a 2021 movie, I guess because it didn't really get a wide release until now when Shudder picked it up, although it was actually made and premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival back in 2019 in the spring. It's just, it was called something else. That's what it was called. It was called Something Else. That was the name of the movie. Yeah. You know, in case that wasn't clear. So, I don't want to spoil it too much. I will say, I liked this movie a lot. It's not really a horror movie, so don't go into it expecting a horror movie. It is essentially a romance or a relationship drama comedy that sometimes has a monster in it. Yeah. Do you think that's a good description? That's
yeah.
probably a
I
good
actually,
description.
I gotta say, the movie was a real good-looking movie. It was well shot, had really good soundscapes. I liked the. It had a soundtrack, but it also had a soundscape behind it. It was pretty cool. Stylistically, it was really good. It had a monster in there, and the special effects for the monster was pretty good.
Yeah, the monster is pretty cool.
It was only a few seconds. It was a good movie. Especially, I could tell that it was a low-budget movie.
Sure.
But it was a real good low-budget movie. Left me wanting a little more. I wanted more monster.
Yeah.
But it was probably expensive to make a lot of that monster.
Well, that's why I'm saying, it's a good movie. Yeah. You just have to manage your expectations about what kind of movie it is. I wouldn't call it a monster movie.
No.
I would call it a relationship drama with some comedy in it, and also there's a monster a couple of times.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
It wanted to be a monster movie, though, so bad. In my soul.
You want everything to be a monster movie.
Just be a little bit more of a monster movie. But I understand why they did what they did.
Yeah.
It was a good-looking movie.
It kind of reminded me a little bit, I was going to say, in the sense that, like I said, it's hard to talk about it. I don't want to spoil it too much. But it's kind of one of those things. I can't remember, what was that movie? I think it was just called Monster. Yeah. That was about a mom and her daughter, and they were stranded out in this car, like at night, and there was like a monster stalking them. It kind of gave me that sort of vibe, where it wasn't really about the monster as much. I think that was like a werewolf or something. And it was kind of out there, but it was more like metaphorical. Like the monster was real, but it was kind of like standing in for something.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this movie is kind of doing that too. A little bit like the Babadook, but not quite as fantastical as that. This is much more grounded in reality, even though there is a monster in it.
It had a real good color palette, and just the texture of the movie visually, I liked it. Had a good cast. Acting was good. Leading lady was she was cute. She was good in it.
That was Brea Grant. Because the whole time in the movie, I'm like, God damn it! I know I've seen her in some shit. She was on Dexter.
Okay. Yeah.
She's been in a bunch of other movies too, like a lot of indie movies, and she's done some TV. But I think that's probably where I recognize her from.
She had cute ears.
She had cute ears.
You notice that?
I didn't notice her ears.
It was showing her with her head back from certain angles, and just little mouse ears.
She's like, look at her little bitty mouse ears.
She's like a little pixie. Yeah.
Yeah, she does. She definitely does have that look. But so the interesting thing about this is that the dude that plays Hank, Jeremy Gardner, also directed it.
Okay,
so there you go.
All right.
So the setup is Hank is this kind of nice guy, good old boy type of thing. They live out in this town. I think it's called Barlow. They don't say what state it is. I think some of them say Georgia, but when she goes somewhere, she goes to Miami, and she says it's only 3 or 4 hours away. So I was assuming it was somewhere like in Central Florida. You know what I mean? Like in the rural area of Central Florida. That's kind of what it looked like to me. So, but I don't know if they say what state it's supposed to be in. So it's Florida or Georgia, one of those two places. So it's this town called Barlow, real small town. All the dudes, go out and hunt or whatever. Now, so Hank and his girlfriend, Abby, have been together for 10 years, and they own or manage a bar, and they live in this big, huge, rambling old house that has been in Hank's family for generations. So very, very early in the film, they do kind of like a lot of flashbacks. I don't know if it's supposed to be set in the 90s, because it's very, very 90s. Like the dresses that she wears, very 90s. There's a lot of 90s music in it. There's a part where Hank pretty much karaoke's the entirety of Lisa Loeb's Stay, which is a highlight. Also, so I don't know if it was supposed to be set in the 90s, but it seems like it
seemed like 90s to me with the music.
Yeah, and they had cassette tapes, you know what I mean? So it felt like 1994, thereabouts. But the
little sundress things that they had back then. 90s with little flower prints and shit. That was 90s, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like very 1994.
Is that a sundress? What kind of dress you call it?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a sundress, sort of. Yeah, and it had like sunflower patterns on it. It's like if you see the dresses in there, you'll be like, it'll scream 90s. It screams 90s.
Which they need to bring them back, actually. Those were cute dresses.
Yeah, on some people.
Yeah. You had to have the right... They looked good on young girls.
Yeah.
Your 20s and teenagers.
Yeah.
It looked good.
Your stalker says the 80s rocked, the 90s sucked. To a large extent, I would agree with that assessment. I wasn't a big fan of the 90s. But
there were certain aspects of the 90s that were cool.
There were.
Yeah.
But
the mainstream kind of sucked.
Yeah, overall, I'm pretty sure I like the 80s better. So they live in this place. Now, pretty early on, so there's like a lot of kind of dreamy flashbacks of him, in their like different stages of their relationship. And then they also intercut with him with his couch pushed against the door with a shotgun, and there's something kind of scrabbling around on the outside on the porch.
Yeah.
Now, pretty early on in the movie, Abby disappears. Well, she doesn't disappear, but she leaves, and she doesn't really she just leaves a note that says something like, hey, I'm going whatever, I love you. And then she won't answer her phone and all this other kind of shit. Now, I didn't really realize until later on in the movie that she was gone for a long time, because I was just kind of like, how long was she gone? I guess it was like a month.
Yeah.
So in the time that she is gone and he can't get hold of her, he doesn't know. Yeah, I guess because nobody had cell phones. Everybody still had landlines. So I'm guessing it was the 90s. So he can't get hold of her. He doesn't really know where she went. And, he thinks that she's just left him and is just like, hey, you fuck off or whatever. So he just kind of starts spiraling downhill. And it seems that a monster is coming and trying to get into his house every night. And he's been shooting at it. It takes their cat, sadly. But everybody else in town, like his buddies and the cop, who, as I said, is played by Henry Zabrowski from last podcast on the left, who is also Abby's brother, that nobody believes him, because you wouldn't. You would just think, dude's living out there by himself. His girlfriend left him, and now he thinks there's a monster coming in to get him. It's just a bear. It's all this other kind of shit. So that's kind of the setup of it. So, but as I said, it's not a horror movie. It has horror movie aspects to it. There is a monster in it, but a lot of it is relationship stuff. Some of it is funny, like especially the interactions between him and his buddy. Like where the buddy is talking about like all the Discovery Channel shit, like about the cryptids and, him drinking off of the bar mat and shit like that. Like that shit is funny. Yeah. So there's funny shit in it, but there's also real serious relationship shit in it, like about his commitment issues and about all this other kind of stuff. So there's that kind of, so if that doesn't sound like something you want to watch, then you shouldn't. Because it's not scary or anything. But overall, I don't know. I dug it.
I thought it was all right, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. Just as long as you're not expecting it to be,
it's not
scary or
over the top or
no. And I mean, there is one scene in the middle of it where, where Hank and Abby are having this like long conversation about their relationship, and it's long. I think it's like 13 or 14 minutes, and the movie's not long. It's only like 83 minutes, maybe. I think it was 83 minutes. But it's really good. It's really well acted. And it's really kind of, you kind of get sort of emotionally invested with these two characters, or at least I did. So, it's a really good movie, just not really a horror movie. Just
the monster
saying.
Looked great.
The monster really looked good.
Yeah, the monster looked really good.
Not in it much, but he looked
you didn't get to see it much.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and the thing with the cat, I don't want to fucking ruin it.
Why do cats always get hurt in these movies?
I just liked the tone of the movie. It was just the way it was shot. The shot composition was really good. They used good filters that seemed like remember the backgrounds were kind of soft. Things were color coordinated with the fucking blue and the gold, and just things were shot.
It had like a little bit of a dreamy kind of especially after it got dark, because they were contrasting like his memories.
Yeah, it's not like they're just shooting it with a damn cell phone. I mean, it's like a film.
Yeah,
it's like a film.
And I like, too, like I said, I can't spoil too much about it, but all of the stuff that they show about their relationship earlier on, like all of the flashbacks that you have and stuff, like after some shit happens in the middle of the movie and a conversation that they have in the middle of the movie, a lot of that stuff will become clear, like why that's in there.
T's here. Hadn't seen you in a while. T, where you been? She's saying she's going to watch this movie tonight, and she also recommends Rawhead Rex. You talking about the original Rawhead Rex, the Irish one? We loved it when it came out when we were kids, but everybody fucking bags on that movie now.
Well, it's terrible, but it's terrible in a super fun way.
When we were watching that shit, and it was like we were watching some underground... This is back in the 80s. we rent it, and this where we're watching fucking Lovecraft type movies, fucking Herbert West type movies. We put that bitch in there, and it was Irish. It was calling us back to the fucking motherland. When we're watching it. We're like, what the fuck is this going on? When we see that fucking Rawhead Rex piss on that priest to baptize him, he's going, yeah! And we were just going, yeah, this movie's fucking right on.
First time I saw it, it's like, yeah,
that's some weird shit.
That's some Clive Barker shit right there.
Yeah, and then they had the damn stained glass window, and there's like the monster underneath the ground, and there was something with a key where remember that, where it shot some kind of beam of light.
Yeah,
I don't remember exactly how it went.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
But
Probably
we thought
like
that
a couple of years.
We thought that was cool as shit at the time. I saw it more recently, and I was like, oh, that's all that was. You know what I mean? But it's funny how your perceptions change as you get older and as things kind of age out. I mean, it last time I saw it, it was a tired looking movie, but it was cool in the day. We liked it.
You know what? I think that it actually would have been... I think people fondly remember it just because the monster is so goofy looking.
Yeah, well...
Had the monster been scary, like the monster in the movie we're talking about today, had the monster looked like that, then I think people would be talking a lot more favorably about Rawhead Rex. Because I did actually like the shit around the monster, but as soon as the monster turns up, you're just like, oh no.
They got him out from underneath a damn stone fucking stone, like a Stonehenge stone. He was underneath it. That's how I remembered it. He was buried underneath it.
Yeah, weren't they digging around somewhere and there was some kind of obelisk or some shit and they moved it? Don't move the obelisk. And it's like then this
thing had to
this
come
googly-eyed monster came out of it. Was
he
kind of googly-eyed? Did he have a mullet?
No, he had a mohawk.
Are you
sure? He looked kind of like a cross between a pinhead, or like, you know what I mean, like a fucking like an encephaloid baby with a mohawk and a demon and a gorilla and a pig all kind of mixed in together. He had tusks and shit and coming on the bottom of his teeth. We liked it.
I like it too.
It was just bug-eyed. The only thing that was wrong with it is that its eyes didn't blink. But they didn't show it for very long. Yeah. They tried not to show it very long.
It reminded me...
Its eyes didn't blink from what I remember.
The eyes of it...
They were narrow and they didn't blink.
Like I said, this might be... Because it's been a while since I've seen it. But the eyes of it reminded me a little bit of the eyes from those... from like the fucking... What was that movie? Horror of Party Beach? With those monsters with those big, huge bug eyes. And then they look like their mouths were full of like dill pickles or hot dogs or something.
Yeah.
I felt like the eyes reminded me of that, but I could be thinking of something else, so to be fair.
Rawhead Rex, it might suck by today's standards, but when it was direct to video from
it's still pretty fun.
And it was not for a theater audience. It was for young guys in high school listening to heavy metal fucking records. All right? 16, 17-year-old guys. And you rented that bitch from fucking Blockbuster along with 2 or 3 other ones. And you watched them for the weekend. Usually sneaking booze or fucking smoking weed in between shit.
Of course.
And that helps impress you, about what it is you're seeing.
It's like you're kind of high, you're kind of buzzed.
Yeah, and then afterwards you and your boys would discuss it for a couple of hours, about the lore behind it. Was there anything to it? And then you would kind of convince yourself that it was based in something that was real. You wanted to base it in some real shit. Like, we were trying to base Lovecraft stuff in real shit. Like, oh, yeah.
I feel like a lot of people were back then.
Well, what was funny about Lovecraft is that people during the time of Lovecraft were believing what he was saying. That there really were cults, and that he really did have this... Remember that?
Yeah.
He had a whole cult following that thought that he was really in contact with the paranormal. He wasn't, though. But that helped his fucking...
Well, and it helped, too, that other authors knew him dipped into his, the whole world he had created and wrote their own stories in it. Like, it's an extended fiction.
You weren't dealing with a jaded audience back then. No internet. So there wasn't a lot of competition. They'd fell into that little scene of reading them books, and it would change their lives because that was the only influence they had. People on Facebook.
Your shit's dinging.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if we were looking forward to Antlers. I was, actually. I think that, to me, was the biggest disappointment of it being pushed back. Because I kept seeing the trailers for it last year when we were going to the theater. And I was just like, man, that looks so good. I can't wait to see that. And then they just keep pushing it back and pushing it back. I don't know why they don't, just release it to VOD like they did everything else. Because I fucking want to see that shit. And probably a lot of people wanted to see it. I mean, they would have made money. People. That was the one about the Wendigo or whatever. Yeah, the trailer looked really good. So, I don't know. I'll watch it as soon as it comes out.
Yeah, Rawhead Rex and Humanoids from the Deep would be a good double.
Humanoids from the Deep's a good one too. That had fucking what's his ass? Dude, man, what's that name? Doug McClure.
Yeah,
Doug
when
McClure.
you got a fucking creature from the Black Lagoon fucking jumping up and trying to rape women and shit, you got to see that when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to pull the women and spawning with the women. Yeah, man, spawn with them damn women. You better run. Just fucking, that was the mentality of the time, and that really should be the mentality for all times. It really should be.
That fish people should jump up on land and try to spawn with human women.
In bikinis, and shit. It's an effective.
That's the way the world should work. Goddamn.
Yeah, it's an effective tool. It's an effective tool to capture the minds of a teenage boy. So you're like, yeah, that's right. And then what's produced afterwards? That kind of shit. And do they enjoy it? Does a woman leave you for the fish man? That's what, would my girlfriend leave me for the fish man? Just shit like that. They got that from, yeah. Well, that would be the teenage fear. That what happens if fucking she thinks that fish man's hotter than me? Okay?
Yeah.
Scales and shit. Hell yeah.
I can see that.
He could breathe underneath the water.
Yeah.
Kind of a merman thing.
Well, now you're making me all fucking.
But isn't that what Creature from the Black Lagoon was all about? Those fucking scenes of her swimming in it and the creature fucking looking at her and shit. That looked like a damn love scene to me.
Yeah. That's some trans species love right there.
Yeah.
Gilman was pretty cute.
Yeah, that motherfucker was ugly. I don't know.
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
He was
at least he was physically fit.
He was just misunderstood.
He
was just misunderstood.
Yeah.
I mean, and
they tried to make him live on land, didn't they? By sewing his gills shut or something? Didn't they try to do something to him?
Did they do that in the first one? Weirdly, I remember the second one, Revenge of the Creature, more than the first one because Revenge of the Creature was on Mystery Science Theater, so I've seen it a lot more times than the first one. But he was still in the water, and he was like back in the fucking Amazon or whatever in the second one, so I don't remember what happened at the end of the first one. Did he just like go back in the water and be like, just keep your lady? God damn.
Yeah.
Fucking everyone's so judgmental.
Yeah. Some shit Blowfly would sing about. It's a fish's world.
Oh my god. Well, he's so slippery. I love that.
Yeah.
But oh my god. We're already in that mindset because we recorded a movie retrospective earlier about a very perverse film.
Yeah.
If you're on Patreon, you know what movie we're talking about, but so that's probably why
that's gonna be the next one coming up.
Yeah, Thursday for patrons, Friday.
So is there anything else you want to say about this movie here?
I don't think so. Like I said, it's on Shudder, at least in the US. I don't know about UK. It's a really good. I really liked it. I thought the acting was good. It was like fun, had some funny shit in it. Just don't expect it to be like scary or like a horror movie because it's kind of not. It's sort of like an indie '90s relationship movie. Yeah. With a monster in it.
Yeah, sometimes. and Tila, go check out Blowfly. They even got a damn documentary up on, about him on YouTube for free. But check out some of that shit. It's fucking funny.
Fourth door down says if Tom goes spawning around my place, he's gonna get shot in the ass.
It's a fish's world. Gonna come and spawn with your girl.
Rhymed and everything.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had a really funny mental picture of Tom spawning.
Yeah. Coming out. Like I saw.
He'll be like in your pool.
I saw the Humanoids from the Deep trailer when I was in the back seat of the car at the drive-in. My parents up front. That must have been about 75 or 76.
Yeah.
Right?
When did that come out?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was mid-70s. I want to say.
I saw that trailer and I was going, whoa! It fucking wigged me out. I didn't see it till much later. It looked good.
Yeah.
It looked good. I thought it was cool.
They did it on... Didn't they do it on the new MST? Like with Jonah and them? I'm pretty sure they did it on there.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'd have to look on Netflix. Now I kind of want to watch that again, if they did. Yeah, bro, I'm 95% sure that the new MST did it.
Yeah, it's Blowfly. He's an artist. He's a Florida artist. Singer and rapper, multimedia star. He died a while ago. We missed his last tour. He was... Well, that was the last year, I think.
I think it was. Because that was only a few years ago.
He's a superhero and a singer and a rapper. Kind of like Dolomite, but better.
And dirtier. Super filthy.
Constant stream of filth.
Super filthy.
Constant stream of
filth. But funny.
Yeah. I recommend a song called "Begging for Pussy" Medley. Go fucking watch that one. Begging for Pussy Medley.
This is all the songs about begging for pussy, and I've kind of put them all together into one big supercut.
The meaning of the song is he's saying you don't understand, these other celebrities are begging for pussy, and he sings all these famous songs from these other artists, and that you didn't realize that they were. You just got to see it. You got to listen to it. It's fucking funny.
Mango says, "Stop spawning in my pond, Tom Ross."
Yeah.
Tom's gonna be spawning. But yeah, it looks kind of sketchy. Oh, it is. It is sketchy.
Oh, it's sketchy as shit. It's sketchy as shit. You're dealing with the ultimate Florida man. The ultimate Florida man. If it's supposed to be sketchy, and he's very famous. You know what I mean? He influenced a lot of rap artists. You know, Snoop Dogg and fucking NWA and just everybody. You know, they knew who that is. And he never really sold that many albums. You had to go to his show most of the time. He just sell them to you directly. Is usually where you got it. And they were little bitty labels from what I remember. And they're just like fucking filthy, absolutely filthy. But it was a strange genius to them. He did covers. He one of his albums is called 2001: A Sex Odyssey, and every song on it is some kind of 80s cover. Or sometimes late 70s cover of a great rock song or a great, dark wave song like Prince covers. Fucking another one was a Blue Monday cover. And fucking just hilarious. And he's going to give you his own perverted take on that damn song. It's hilarious.
Seth says, "She's Got a Wiener" would be my favorite.
Yeah, She's Got a Wiener. That's a good one. Yeah, She's Got a Wiener. Go ahead and listen to that one, T. He goes down to the park. I'm not going to tell the story. Let him tell the story. How his heart was captivated by this chick that had a wiener, and couldn't get her out of his mind. It's a romantic tragedy. It's a romantic tragedy. You're gonna see.
It sounds pretty tragic.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious. Yeah, She got a wiener. Yeah.
Does she know all there is to know about the crying?
Bitches Got a Wiener, I think is right. Bitches Got a Wiener, I think. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Your stalker says, "Is the movie Spring Breakers an accurate depiction of Florida?" Sort of. I don't know. Like, I grew up in Daytona Beach, and when we had spring break there, the shit you saw in the movies, that was pretty accurate. I wasn't going down there hanging out with them because they were a bunch of fucking hooligans falling off the fucking balconies and whatnot. This is how shitty we were. It's like these stupid drunken college students. They'd be like getting drunk. I'm going to climb up to the 10th floor. You can't stop me. And then they drive and then they fall and splatter all over the pool thing. And we're just like, yeah, good riddance.
Yeah.
Jackasses.
There's a difference between people that live in Florida and tourists. And also people that move to Florida. It's kind of like California. Crazy motherfuckers move into California. Well, now they're moving to Florida. A lot of New York and a lot of California is moving to Florida now. They're talking about sealing the borders off because that's fucking fun. Because it'll overpopulate quick if those two states move here.
Well, yeah. I mean, we still got a lot of room, but it is kind of like developing.
It's developing awful fucking
Granther
fast.
saw "Stalker, I'm just a supportive viewer. I tease.
Yeah.
I'm an asshole, you know.
Evidently
You'll figure that out. Like,
evidently, I went to high school with you, or you just remember every fucking thing I say. Although you seem to have known some stuff that only somebody who went to high school with me would know.
See, there you go.
Yeah, so
we still haven't solved the mystery.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. There's a lot of them I went to high school with. It's just one of them. If he doesn't want to tell me who it is, it's probably a girl.
Yeah.
It's probably a girl, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
One of these days we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, so you ready to wrap it up?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I gotta go. Fuck, man, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the goddamn morning. Why do I keep doing that? I don't know. I can risk.
Granthers, if you were a girl,
not a girl,
disguised as a guy, you wouldn't claim to be a girl. You'd claim to be a guy. So I don't believe what you say.
It's a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy.
All right. So, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow to talk about another movie. I got one I'm planning to watch tonight unless I just stumble across something else. So, yeah, thanks everybody for dropping by, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.